What is up, my dudes, my friends, and cryptophiles out there in the cryptoverse? I don't know why I'm saying shit like that. Anyway, welcome back to the Crypto Stop. I'm Denwood. We got a couple of things to talk about today. We're not going to make this super long, but we've got 2 weeks now behind us where Pulsechain has launched. I'm wearing a top hat in lieu and in honor of Richard Hart, who successfully released this blockchain. Okay, there's a couple of bumps in the road, but I think it was successful. That's why I'm wearing the hat. But let's talk about it in a couple of seconds. Roll the intro. What has happened in the Pulsechain verse over the last 2 weeks? Ups and downs, strikes and gutters, what have you, my dudes. There's a lot to talk about in a condensed version. But first and foremost, for some of you new people to the industry, to crypto, I must tell you this. In the last 2 weeks of doing these flash loans that I've been doing to try and onboard people onto the Pulsechain network, help them get their trades and their positions, I've learned that so many of you are brand new traders, brand new to crypto, and you're jumping right into Pulsechain, which is extremely bullish when you think about it, that this brand new blockchain has brought so many new, inexperienced crypto traders, crypto buyers, crypto users. That is amazing and phenomenal. But one tip to you, first and foremost, one thing that I learned is that a lot of you aren't familiar with Twitter, or you don't have Twitter accounts, or you're not actively using Twitter. That is the first gold standard, if you will, for social media when it comes to cryptocurrency, is to get on Twitter. That's where you're going to get the alpha, the new information. That's where you're going to find out what's going on in the industry, what to buy, what to sell, what to trade. The NFT world on its own solely exists on Twitter. So please, if you're new to the space, get on Twitter. And while you're there, don't forget to follow me, engage with me on GetFilmCoin. That's my Twitter handle, at GetFilmCoin. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel while you're at it, the Crypto Stop. Hit that red button below, notifications, all that stuff, because we got a lot in the tank coming in the future. But first, let's get to business. What has been happening with Pulsechain? Almost 2 weeks on the dot, a bug was found in the Pulsex exchange code. And that caused quite a bit of an issue. Created some FUD. A lot of people sold their tokens. One whale sold off his entire bag. And the price of not just PLS, but many of the tokens on Pulsechain kind of dropped to its lowest point since its inception. You know, at launch, we reached highest of highs, and then we reached the lowest of lows once this bug was found. What is the bug? What was the bug? Well, it's been fixed, thankfully, but the bug was a simple piece of code in the Pulsex exchange that simply burnt all of the fees of liquidity providers. For those of you that don't exactly know how this works, when you provide liquidity, you're putting one coin versus another coin so people can trade in and out of them. And each time those trades happen, you receive a portion of the fees that are collected in order to incentivize you to put your coins up for swap. In this case, the buy and burn function, which was doing really extremely well and burned 60 billion Pulsex tokens, was kind of questioned. Why is it burning so much? Well, they found the problem. All of those fees that people were supposed to be receiving on the Pulsex exchange were being burnt and sent to the buy and burn, essentially. Therefore, increasing the burn that Pulsex is doing kind of artificially, because people that were putting their tokens up were not receiving their fees. So, luckily and thankfully, this has been fixed. Let's go over that real quick. Here we are on the Pulsex exchange. And if you look right up here in the top right-hand corner, you now will see V1 and V2. You can easily swap over just by clicking on it. Make sure your wallet is still connected. Let's go back over to V1. Now, there's an interesting thing that's happened since this fix was implemented. Now, just real quick, just so you know, currently in version 2, V2, if you do provide liquidity, which let's show you an example. I have provided a little bit of liquidity here. Look, I got SHIB versus SHIB and Hadron versus Hadron here on V2 liquidity. Therefore, I will be earning fees on this liquidity that I've put in version 2. That's awesome. That's great. It's been fixed. We have another version. But they've left version 1 available to use in case you do want to burn all your fees, because there are people out there that just want to help out the community, help out the chain, and they actually prefer to have their fees burned to continue adding to the scarcity of the Pulsex token. So you can still provide liquidity on version 1. Something interesting happened. Right after this fix was made, I saw a couple people that are higher ups in the Hex chain, not the Hex blockchain, but the hierarchy of the who is important in the Hex universe or the Pulse universe. I saw a couple of them tweet, wouldn't it be interesting if all of the farms that provided incentive tokens remained on version 1, burning all of the fees? And that kind of makes sense, right? If you want to receive incentive token, which is, paying pretty good dividends, and go over to version 1, you'll burn all your fees, which is going to increase the Pulsex burn, which is great for everybody, but you're receiving the token. Now, if you just want to provide liquidity, you can go over to version 2, provide liquidity and receive your fees. That was thrown around on Twitter a little bit, and I think maybe Richard Hart may have taken that to heart, because he has not yet introduced any farms onto version 2. If you go and look, go over to version 2, you can see my liquidity there. I will be receiving my fees, but we go to the farms. There's no farms. And maybe it's possible he'll throw up some farms on here, and maybe farms of some different tokens that is not in version 1, maybe some of the smaller tokens that he wants to bring more attention to, because of course on version 2 there are going to be fees paid out and incentive token earned. But I really kind of like the idea, the kind of gamification of it. If they keep all the farms on version 1, where they burn all of the fees for liquidity, but they give out the incentive token. It's an interesting twist if they keep it up that way and they don't decide to do any farming on version 2. But just so you're aware, the thing is fixed. Make sure to go to version 2 if you want to put in liquidity and receive your fees. Make sure you go to version 1 if you want to do any farming right now and receive incentive token, but also know that your fees will be burned. Next in the news is the native PLS bridge. Thankfully, the biggest problem with the Pulse chain launch has been solved. Okay, I'll be honest with you. I solved the problem 2 weeks ago. What was the problem? Well, just to remind you, people that really wanted to get on Pulsechain really quickly, who already had assets like Pulsex or other copied tokens on Pulsechain, a lot of them couldn't swap. They couldn't exchange. And they were rushing to get their positions because they didn't know whether the market was going to go up or down or whatever. They just wanted to get their positions. So in order to kind of combat that, I was doing out flash loans, and I still am if the service is needed, although it's slowed down like a ton. If you still need that service, you can find me at GetFilmCoin on Twitter and just DM me, and we'll figure that out. But the bridge is open. The bridge is unclogged. And even though the bridge was unclogged earlier, a week ago, people still couldn't get a hold of that PLS for gas. So what did Richard Hart do? Well, he opened a new PLS contract on the Ethereum blockchain. So you can go to Uniswap right now. You have to put in the new contract code. You can swap your Ethereum for wrapped Pulse on this new contract. And then when you bridge it over, it automatically unwraps into PLS so that when you open up your Pulsechain wallet, you will actually have PLS and enough for gas. So once again, go to Twitter. Richard Hart posted the new contract. We're going to do that right now. We're going to take a look at it. So if you're having this problem, you can find out how to bridge native PLS over to your wallet so you can begin trading or have enough for your gas fees. Let's take a look. All right, first things first, as we do in the cryptoverse, go to Twitter. That's where everything is. Let's look up Richard Hart. If you're not following Richard Hart, there he is right there. Where is he? He's at Richard Hart Win. You need to do that. He's the developer. All the alpha, all the news, it's going to be coming through his Twitter first and before anywhere else or anyone else. So go to Richard Hart Win. Give him a follow. You'll find out what's going on. Let's take a look for that contract number. There we go. Here we go. Richard Hart says, the native PLS bridge is live. Bridge native PLS between Pulsechain and Ethereum. On the way back, Pulsechain WPLS will automatically unwrap to native PLS. Bridge.pulsechain.com. That's the bridge. But what do you have to do? You have to buy your PLS, your wrapped Pulse, your WPLS on Ethereum first. So right here, he's got both contract numbers, the old wrapped pulse and the new wrapped pulse on Ethereum. Obviously, you want to go to the new contract. So we're going to go there. We're going to copy this. I'll leave this in the description below. Copy the new contract. Let's go over to Uniswap. Come on. We're going to go into our wallets. We're going to switch over to Ethereum mainnet. There we go. I don't have much. I've literally bridged my entire worth over to Pulsechain. I guess I'm a bit of a maximalist. I'm wearing a hat. Look at my hat. I'm going to go to Uniswap. I'm not going to actually do this because I don't have anything in Ethereum anymore. And we're going to trade for some wrapped pulse. We're putting in that new contract that I just copy pasted. There it is, wrapped pulse from Pulsechain. There you go. 0.007. 0.007 ETH. It's $12.64 would get me 87,789 wrapped pulse. Let's just look at the fees right now and see how much that would cost me if I actually did this swap right now. It's going to cost $10. Wow. Look, Ethereum fees have gone down drastically since Pulsechain launched, but they're still out of control and almost unusable, which is exactly why I've bridged everything I have over to Pulsechain. It's faster, it's cheaper, it's better. It makes you want to wear a purple hat. It's just good. So we're not going to do that. Let's go ahead and reject that transaction. $10 to bridge over 12, or actually to swap over $12, but it's an option and it works. So basically what you do is you swap for your wrapped pulse on this new contract, which I'll leave in the description below. And then you'll go to the bridge. Let's just go ahead and do that since we're at it already, which is bridge.pulsechain.com. I'm already in my Ethereum wallet, so I would go ahead and type in, well, I would switch the token to the wrapped pulse on the new contract, and I would bridge it, and it would automatically down here turn into regular PLS. And then that would essentially bridge over to PLS that you have your gas fees for. Now, the bridging fees, well, you know what? We can take a look at this right now too. Let's see what happens when I bridge over my very little Ethereum. Do max. It's too low of an amount. It's too low of an amount to bridge, which is fine. You'll believe me. Even bridging right now is costing kind of too much, in my opinion. So you're paying $10 just to do a swap into wrapped pulse, and you got to bridge it over. The average bridging fee, no matter how much you're bridging over, is going between $12 and like $30. Okay, so your average cost to swap into Pulse and then bridge it over is going to be $20 to $40, depending on the time, depending on how the fees are, which is still a lot. Now, if you're a person who already has assets on Pulse, you can definitely come to me. My option is so much cheaper still, but I'm doing it manually and I'm not busy anymore, so I'm not really checking as much. But you can go to @GetFilmCoin. You can message me, and I'm asking for like a $5 tip, and then I send you Pulse, and then you send me double back. So at the end of the day, it costs you like $6 instead of $30 to get your gas Pulse, just enough to get your swaps on. That's a very specific person. If you already have assets on Pulsechain and you can't swap because you're out of gas, you can come to me. We'll get it done for $6, or it can cost you $30 to go the Ethereum way. So it depends on who you are, what your purpose is. Now, if you're trying to bridge over a whole lot of money, obviously this is the way to go. Get all your assets in one place, bridge it all over. It's probably worth the $30. Obviously, you want to be sending over far more than $30 if you're going to do a bridge, because why spend $30 to send $30? So my option's still available, still much cheaper in many ways, but at least the issue is fixed, and this is how you do it. And in general crypto news, there's been a lot of issues with Binance today. The SEC has come out against CZ, the owner of Binance, telling him that he's been fudging the books. He's been lying about where investments have been going, misallocating user funds. Binance clapped back at these allegations from the SEC and basically said it's all false, that they've been working closely with the SEC. They've been completely above the board, doing everything proper, the right way, because obviously CZ was very vocal and involved in the FTX scandal, and he doesn't want to go down the same path. He doesn't want to collapse crypto, just like FTX did. And I believe CZ, the owner of Binance, in a lot of ways that he's not doing the same things that FTX did. But it doesn't avoid the fact that just that news in general, it dumped all of crypto about 10-15% today. Just that kind of news really scares people nowadays because nobody wants to be another FTX. Now, am I a fan of centralized exchanges? No. You don't have your seed phrase. You don't have control over the wallet. It's not yours. Anything can happen. That's how FTX happened. I'm not a fan, but I realize that we need those exchanges. A perfect example is OTX. That's the first exchange that's listed Pulsechain that's been able to onboard people that don't live in the United States. United States residents are not allowed to use the OKX exchange, but it's a way to exchange your crypto for fiat using the banking system. To get onboarded, to get offboarded, it's a middleman. It's a pass-through. So right now, at this time, we kind of need them. But I'm not a big fan because it's not your crypto. Somebody else holds the keys. Not your keys, not your crypto. But yeah, this news dumped all of crypto, about 10-15% today. Even though it seems like there's some contention of what is the truth. And I don't think CZ is willing to lose everything or go down the same road as FTX. So I believe some truth in what he's saying. But at the same time, this kind of shows what the government and what these entities are looking at crypto like. Because of the FTX scandal itself, they want to come after us. They want to regulate. They want to maybe even destroy it, which is what makes decentralized exchanges so much more important right now. If this thing gets overregulated, if there are more FTX type scandals with these big exchanges, centralized exchanges may have to go away sometime. The only way to keep crypto alive is by these decentralized exchanges. They don't have control over it. They don't have control over us. We are creating the system. We are creating the process. We are funding it. We are giving liquidity. We are sending it back and forth to each other. We are giving it value. So we don't need the centralized exchanges. Do we right now? Yeah, for mass adoption, to give more fiat liquidity essentially to our crypto. We kind of need them right now. So in a sense, they're important, but also this is just more proof that decentralized exchanges like Pulsex are the future of cryptocurrency. So let's keep an eye on what's going on with Binance. I think they're going to be okay at the end of the day, depending on how the government and the SEC decides to handle crypto. But it was pretty interesting news. And the best thing, the cherry on the top of Pulsechain, Pulsex, and all that, is that it wasn't affected. There was no massive effect, or any at all really, by this news. What else is new but NFTs? Yes, NFTs have finally made their way to Pulsechain. Some people are excited about that. Some people aren't. Richard Hart definitely doesn't seem to be a big fan of NFTs, as he commonly touts them off as, if you want to buy your stupid JPEGs, you're able to do so on Pulsechain. He says things of that sort. But yeah, they finally made their way. There isn't a major trading platform that's been opened and developed quite yet on Pulsechain, but what is new is the very first NFT collection on Pulsechain, and guess what they are? CryptoPunks. Who would have known? Who would have guessed? I don't believe it's the same company that came out with CryptoPunks, although maybe it is. But we have ourselves Pulse Punks, and that's kind of exciting. If you know the way that everything went with CryptoPunks, you might want to jump on board and get yourself some Pulse Punks. Everybody's excited about this new blockchain. It's the first NFTs, and if history repeats itself, which it usually does, these Pulse Punks might just pop off. Where did we find them? Let's take a look. Here we go. app.pulsepunks.com. Go ahead and make sure you're on the Pulse network. Connect your wallet. And here we go. We got our Pulse Punks. So far, let's take a look at the market here. So far, there have been 3,455 Pulse Punks minted at 1 million Pulse a piece. That's about $136 in current prices today. $136 for a Pulse Punk. That's outlandish. It's crazy. There's going to be 10,000 in this collection. They're not done being minted. So now's your chance to get on board quickly. Go get yourself a Pulse Punk. If you want to be in the potential chance of riding this thing up to millions of dollars, just as the original CryptoPunks did, go ahead and get there now. app.pulsepunks.com. The interesting thing about the Pulse Punks, which I quite enjoy, is that they state that they're sharing all trading revenues with the community. So if you own Pulse Punks or multiple Pulse Punks, you will be earning fees just by holding. So that's kind of a new, interesting, and exciting mix into this NFT concept. And while they look okay, I mean, basically the same kind of attributes as the CryptoPunks did. I mean, some of them aren't that exciting and some of them are. We had our first major sale. I'm not involved with this, but I just say we in general. But they've had their first major sale. I think the 6th rarest Pulse Punk just today sold for 100 million Pulse, which is over $10,000, which that's another exciting bit of info, which just kind of shows the bullishness, the potential that this first NFT collection has. And let's be honest, that's why everybody bought the CryptoPunks, and why they're worth so much money is because they were the first NFTs minted on the blockchain, period. So we have our own first NFTs minted on Pulsechain. I'm a little bullish on this. I think that people are going to want a second shot at what made a whole other group of people a ton of money. And since we're all so new, and since this blockchain is so new, and we're all so early, this might be another way to just kind of diversify a little bit on Pulsechain, have a little bit of fun, do some trading, and maybe be sitting on something that could be worth, who knows, $1 million next year. If you're into that thing, if you're into NFTs, get yourself a Pulse Punk, app.pulsepunks.com. Will Pulse Punks be the very first NFT success on Pulsechain, or will they be an utter disaster? You let me know in the comments below. Tell me what you think. Should I have bought 2 of them? And that is it for the latest news over the last 2 weeks of Pulsechain. I'm still super excited, super bullish. I'm utilizing it every single day. I'm still doing my loans. Once again, if you guys need your flash loans, if you're out of PLS for gas, you can always come to me. Go to @getfilmcoin. That's my Twitter. That's where I'm handling that type of business. It's a $5 donation, and you send back a little bit of the Pulse that you swap into in order to keep the bag afloat. For the next loan that I do, it costs you $6 rather than the 30 it costs you to bridge over from Ethereum. Anyway, I'm still doing that. Contact me on @getfilmcoin. Also, down below in the descriptions, I will leave my other social medias. I have like 5 different Twitters. I'm mostly using getfilmcoin, so if you really want to contact me, go there. Also, I've got a page over on Facebook. We're not really using it that much. I'm not really using it that much, but might as well have it. It's the Crypto Stop on Facebook. And that's it. Thank you for watching my video. This is my second video. I'll get better. A little rough around the edges, just like Pulsechain. A little rough around the edges at the beginning, but it's like a fine wine. Yeah, and if you enjoyed my content, if my videos have been helpful to you in any way, please go ahead and donate. I'm gonna leave my wallet down below. This is my wallet for all 3 chains, for Binance, Ethereum, and Pulsechain. Send me a couple dollars if you found this helpful, preferably on Pulsechain. I will leave my wallet here and below in the comments. But thank you so much for joining me. I'm gonna keep coming back every week, every 2 weeks. I'm gonna give you the alpha on the products that I'm working on personally, as well as the news within the Pulsechain verse, the crypto verse, whatever the damn verse you wanna call it. Thanks again for joining me. I'm Denwood. We're going to the moon.